cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the Delayed AEW/New Japan Wrestling Talk Show with Liz Jones and
due to various reasons, because of holidays and one of us tested positive for the virus, which will be known as.
so about 3 weeks ago at this point,
On June 26th.
the Wrestling World's Forbidden Door was kicked open when AEW and New Japan came together. From the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, with a attendance of 16,529.
So we had 4 buy-in matches.
Yes,
you heard us correctly. 4.
Yes, bear with us slightly.
Yes.
So the first one of those buy-in matches was a tag team match.
We had the tag team of Bishamon, Hiroki and Goto. Again, we apologise if we butcher some of these New Japan Pro Wrestling names, as he teams up with Yoshi Hashi to take on the Factories, Aaron Solo and QT Marshall.
And
the win for Bishamon.
The second buy-in match was a one-on-one match between Lance Archer and after a brief 6-minute match, the match was ultimately won by Lance Archer.
Our next match was another tag team match, as the team of Swerve in Our Glory of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland took on Suzuki Gun.
Don't you mean Isaiah Swerve Scott?
Copyright. Took on Suzuki Gun of El Desperado and Yoshimura Kimaro.
The fourth and final buy-in match was an 8-man tag team match with Max Caster teaming up with the Gun Club of Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn.
With Anthony Bowes in their corner, taking on Yaya Emaruta and New Japan LA Dojo's Alex Conklin, the DKC and Kevin Knight.
And again, after a relatively short 5.5-minute match, Max Caster and the Gun Club were victorious.
Yes, they were.
The main card opened up with a 6-man tag team match to see who would gain the advantage in War Games. and that would feature
The teams of Minoru Suzuki and Les Sexlots of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara being up to the ring by his fiancée, Ty Conti, taking on Eddie Kingston, Shota Imamuno, and Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club.
the ultimate winners of the match, and therefore the team that had the advantage of the blood and guts match was
Minoru Suzuki and Les Sexlots of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
not that it helped them out all that much, since the Jericho Appreciation Society would ultimately lose the blood and guts match.
Yes, to the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston.
Now, AEW decided to borrow what has become a theme going on this year with a winner takes all match.
Yes, as NTR, otherwise known as Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood,
Also known as the Revival.
you're right, defended their Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles against the United Empire of Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, who defended the IWGP titles, and taking on Roppongi Vice of Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta.
So, this was a three-way / triple threat tag team match, in which the winners would be both Ring of Honor and IWGP Tag Team Champions. Now, tag team matches are hard enough to keep track of it when it's just two teams. And triple threat matches again are hard enough to keep track of when it's just three single superstars. When you combine a triple threat match and a tag team match, it becomes chaotic.
It does.
However, following a 16-minute back and forth match, it is now FTR who are the undisputed Ring of Honor and IWGP Tag Team Champions.
In other words, they take home all the gold.
Which kind of means that they're going to be working at least a couple more matches in Japan.
Yep.
The next match was the Fatal 4-Way match to crown the first ever AEW Intercontinental Champion.
I beg your pardon. The AEW All-Atlantic Championship. As Pat took on Clark Connors, Miro, and Malachi Black.
Don't you mean when Neville took on Clark Connors, Rusev, and Aleister Black?
Right. Now, this was around 15 minutes, 10 seconds.
Now, the thing with this match, and for the most part it's a running theme that we will see throughout this pay-per-view, is the fact that you could immediately rule out the Clark Connors because of the fact that he's the New Japan representative in this match. But after 16 minutes, was it? 15 minutes. Due to a little move known as Brutalizer on Crack Connors, Pac was able to get the submission and be crowned the AEW All-Atlantic Champion.
Congratulations, Japan, becoming the first AEW All-Atlantic Champion. Next match was a six-man tag team match, as the Dudes of Attitude, the team of Darby Allin, Sting, and Shinji Takagi, took on Bullet Club's El Phantasmo and Matt and Nick Jackson, the AEW Tag Team Champions.
This was a 13-minute match that ultimately ended with a double super kick into a Last of the Dragon powerbomb, allowing the winners to be Dudes with Attitude. Although I am wondering how that name isn't a WWE copyright.
Next, we had our first all AEW match, as Thunder Rosa put her title on the line for her AEW World title line against Tony Storm.
Notice we didn't say anything copyright of that name.
No, because she owns the right to her own name.
Given the fact that Thunder Rosa was still in the relatively early stages of her AEW Women's Championship reign, I don't think anyone was really expecting her to lose here, and she didn't.
Which means, spoiler alert, Thunder Rosa retains her championship. But later on in the AEW card, or on Dynamite, she appears to have formed a tag team bond with Tony Storm. That's another story for this night.
Next, Will Ospreay defends the United States Championship, or to be more precise, the IWGP United States Championship, against Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Would be a very entertaining 16-minute match.
But as with the AEW Atlantic Championship match, and it's my complaint really for this show as a whole, is that it was mostly predictable that any matches involving New Japan titles would be won by the New Japan guys, and vice versa. So the winner of this match, and still IWGP United States Champion, Will Ospreay.
Now we move on to our Zack Sabre Jr. mystery opponent match.
Yes, someone who has been developing some kind of issue with Bryan Danielson.
Unfortunately, Bryan Danielson was not his.
So Danielson would have a hand-picked opponent for Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder? That's the film director.
And that signing, or should I say, the opponent turned out to be a new AEW signing.
Yes, the artist formerly known as Cesaro.
You're right. Now going into the name of Claudio Castagnoli, his old Ring of Honor name.
And his real name.
Yes. Let's just say it didn't end well with Sakamoto Jr.
No, because following a 18 and a half minute match, Zack Sabre Jr. would find himself pretty much on the receiving end of a move that used to be called the neutralizer.
But yeah, it didn't work. Claudio, it's a
And we can't really call this one a defection because he's been out of this the other out of there since well February, was it?
something like that.
The penultimate match was a fatal four-way match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
As Jay White puts championship on the line against AEW Hangman Adam Page, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kazuya Okida, and AEW Adam Cole, baby. Who unfortunately suffered a legit concussion during this match.
Yes, and we're going into this. Hangman Adam Page had recently lost the AEW World Championship, which we'll get to in a minute anyway. And Adam Cole was never really going to win this anyway.
No.
But like I said, this goes back to the issue I just said earlier, that unless something had been arranged beforehand, the New Japan guys were going to retain their titles. Even if it was a 21-minute match. And Adam Cole was pinned in order to retain the champion for Jay White to retain the championship.
Yes. Now, our main event of the night was to crown a AEW World Champion as Jon Moxley.
Whoa. Let's. For those who may have missed it, why do they need to crown an AEW an interim champion? So, going back to Double or Nothing, CM Punk would defeat Hangman Adam Page to become the AEW champion. However, somewhere, not sure whether it was during this match or somewhere after, CM Punk would pick up an injury. Which meant that he would not be able to defend the AEW World Championship. However, instead of vacating the championship, AEW decided to still recognize CM Punk as champion, but to crown an interim champion for the time when he will be off. And that match turned out to be Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, accompanied by William Regal,
Again, we're not going to mention the word copyright because he owns the right to his name.
taking on New Japan's
Rainmaker Hiroshi Tanahashi.
who I believe was the original scheduled opponent for CM Punk.
Yes, he was.
And it will come as no surprise at all. The winner of this match and interim AEW champion is John Moxley.
Not really surprised there, to be honest.
The question is John Moxley was the second AEW champion after beating Jericho. Does this count as a second run with the title from Moxley, or is it just because he's an interim champion that they're not going to recognize it as such?
Who knows?
We know at some point they're probably going to do John Moxley versus CM Punk to see who the rightful champion is.
Now, where have we seen that before? When you would have gone one more time before we switch companies.
Starting with the buy-in matches.
Echelon defeated the Factory's Aaron Solo and QT Marshall.
Lance Archer defeated Nick Toronto.
Swerve in Our Glory defeated Suzuki Gun.
Max Caster and the Gun Club defeated the team of
Yaya Ujimoto and New Japan's LA Dojo, Nick Coughlin, DKC, and Kevin Nash.
in a six-man tag team match that determined the advantage in the Blood and Guts match.
Minoru Suzuki and the Sex Gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara defeated Eddie Kingston, Shota Imaruda, and Wheelie Pizza.
In a winner-takes-all three-way tag team match, FTR defeated the United Empire and the Rupani Vice to be crowned a Ring of Honor and IWGP Tag Team Champions.
In our next match, Pac defeating Clark Connors, Miro, and Malachi Black to become Hot Roll AEW All-Atlantic Champion.
A six-man tag team match, Dudes with Attitude defeated the Bullet Club.
Thunder Rosa retained her AEW Women's World title against Sue Storm.
Will Ospreay retained the IWGP United States Championship by defeating Orange Cassidy.
Claudio Castagnoli defeated David Jr.
Jay White defeated Hangman Adam Page. And Adam Cole to retain the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
And in our main event, John Moxley defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to become the interim AEW World Champion.
So that does it for the Forbidden Door joint production of AEW and New Japan. The next show for New Japan will be coming up in a couple of weeks. Not sure when AEW's next show is, but we will bring it to you when we know.
Until then,
It's Jones, and he's been